We've been asking for it for years, we kinda knew it was coming, but now it's finally here. The Ray-Ban Meta Wayfarer Gen 2. These are clean. I really like these a lot. I've tested almost all of Meta's smart sunglasses that have released over the last couple years, and the first version of the Meta Wayfarers were a really interesting look into what the future could be. And while that first version, in my opinion, didn't hit the mark, it could only record for 30 seconds at a time, it could only record in a square, and the resolution wasn't great, it was still a really interesting step forward in smart glasses technology. And I know today I'm reviewing the brand new Meta Wayfarer Gen 2, but this isn't even the most advanced pair of glasses that Meta's released. In fact, beginning in October, I guess the very end of September, they're releasing the Meta Wayfarer Display, a pair of glasses which literally has an augmented reality display in the right lens. It's also got this wristband that you wear that senses your neural activity and lets you control the glasses by just like gesturing. It's kind of wild. I know for me, after my review of the Meta Oakleys, that I didn't think that it would be possible to have a pair of glasses that advanced that soon. But hey, Meta's been cooking in the background. It's actually kind of terrifying if you think about it. But either way, we're not reviewing those. Hopefully I'll get a pair of those to be able to give you guys a full in-depth review of those after wearing them for a while. Today I'm reviewing the Gen 2 Meta Wayfarers, which granted aren't as advanced, but they do a lot of really cool stuff and honestly I think are a great addition to most people's lives. So the Meta Wayfarer Gen 2s are a slightly upgraded version in almost every regard of the Meta Wayfarer Gen 1s. Obviously aesthetically they look almost exactly the same as the original Meta Wayfarers, but that's because the frame of these glasses are a Wayfarer frame, so that's just the style that they're gonna be, that's just the way that they look, and you can't really change the shape of the glasses and still call it a Wayfarer. Now there are obviously different styles of these glasses that you can get which feature the same technology, but the Wayfarers are sort of their flagship model, and so that's the reason I'm reviewing these. And this is also the pair of sunglasses that I actually have regularly without cameras and microphones and speakers in them. And so getting these was a really easy transition. So the main features that the Meta Wayfarer Gen 2 offer are cameras, microphones, Bluetooth speakers, and an AI assistant. Now if those things don't sound appealing to you, or those are things you don't want on your glasses, then yeah, this is probably not the product for you. However, if you're interested in upgrading from the Meta Wayfarer Gen 1 to the Gen 2, or you're wondering if the Gen 2 is finally the version to get, in today's video, we're gonna find out if the Meta Wayfarer Gen 2s are actually worth it for you. But really quick, the second core badge for the Apple gift card giveaway is now linked in the description below. Grab it if you haven't yet. If you're looking for core badge 1, check out some previous videos. So let's start things off with the price point. The base Meta Wayfarer Gen 2s come in at $379, obviously before tax and shipping. So they're not cheap. A regular pair of Ray-Ban Wayfarers without the polarized lenses is usually around like $190 to $200. You can find it cheaper in some places, but that's generally what it is. I've said this a bunch in all of my other sunglasses reviews, but I used to work at Sunglass Hut, so I've got a somewhat intimate knowledge of Ray-Bans and Oakleys and glasses like that, and so that's why I'm so interested in these products themselves, because I just like sunglasses. And so adding this crazy amount of technology into a frame that looks very similar to the regular Wayfarers is kind of crazy to me. Again, this isn't really new at this point, but it is still pretty cool. Let's start off with the biggest change between the Meta Wayfarer Gen 1s and the Meta Wayfarer Gen 2s. The camera on the Meta Wayfarer Gen 2s has now been upgraded from a camera that could only record at 1080p to now a camera that can record at 3K Ultra HD up to 30 frames per second. Of course, it can still record at 1080p, both in 30 and 60 frames per second, and you can actually get 120 frames per second for slow-mo at, of course, 720p, which is not the best, but you know, it's obviously less data so that they can record more frames. You know, it all kind of makes sense there, but the cameras on these are definitely upgraded, and it's noticeably so. Now, to be fair, it's still not a DSLR quality or even a phone quality, but it's better than it was. The camera is in the left temple of the glasses. It's a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera. On the right side, in the right temple, you've got this LED to tell everyone that you're filming. It's not the easiest LED to see, but I'm glad that it's there. Now, as I'm sure you've heard, there is a sensor on this LED that if you try and record when the LED is covered, it won't record, although it just did. It's not the best. I wish there was a more overt way of telling people that you're recording, and if you're recording and then you cover up the sensor, it's still gonna record for you. It's not gonna stop. So I feel like I always have to say this disclaimer: don't film where you shouldn't film. Don't film where it's weird. Don't use these as spy glasses. Use them as a way to capture moments hands-free. I think that's still one of the biggest sticking points with these glasses, because although they are very cool in what they can do, they're a little creepy. I specifically don't wear these to playgrounds or to water parks or things like that because I have a child. I know how weird it would be if I saw someone else wearing these glasses at those places, so I only wear these in situations where I feel like it's appropriate. Just saying that. I feel like that's the scariest part about smart tech now. Just cameras are getting so small, there are so many weird things you can do with them. Just be cool, guys. Just be cool. Now, of course, with that being said, this camera can do a lot of really cool things. It records video, obviously. It's vertical video, which is all you can actually record on this, but it makes sense because Meta is a company that owns Instagram and Facebook, and that's the kind of video that they push out is vertical video. They don't don't do horizontal 16:9 video, so they're gonna want you to record in the format that works best for them. You can also live stream from these, which I've done before, which is really cool. Now, to be fair, you only really get a POV view of what you're looking at and not actually yourself. So that is something to keep in mind. If you wanna show yourself on the live stream, you actually gotta take them off. Now, when it comes to photos and videos, even though you've got this higher end camera, it's actually the same camera that you've got in the Oakley Metas. It's still not the best. You're still gonna have some pixelation, you're still gonna have some grain. It definitely looks like a lower end phone camera. It's not gonna blow you away. That being said, for what you're actually able to pack inside a pair of sunglasses, it is really impressive. As far as saving photos, you've got 32 gigabytes of onboard memory, so you are able to save some photos and videos on your glasses. However, if you record a lot, you do wanna dump it onto your phone so that way you don't overload the storage. What's nice is that these glasses now have Wi-Fi 6, so actually transferring photos and videos to your phone is a lot easier and a lot quicker than it used to be on the Gen 1s. According to Meta, these glasses can hold up to 1,000 photos and up to 100 30-second videos, which again is fine. You will probably fill that up relatively quickly if you're using these a lot, and obviously you can offload them onto your phone, which is the way to go. You really should be doing that every time you wear these, in my opinion, but you don't have to. In addition to Wi-Fi 6, you've also got Bluetooth 5.3 connectivity, which is a good thing because these come with Bluetooth speakers on them. The speakers can be found on the bottom of the arms. Obviously, they're open air speakers, so it's not like people won't be able to hear what you're listening to. They do actually sound really good for what they are. Obviously, there will be noise bleed, and I'll kind of show you how that sounds right now. This is them on half volume. They do sound great though. I mean, the bass isn't like amazing, but it gets the job done. Let's go up to full volume. Definitely some noise bleed. They do get loud though, although the louder you get, the less bass that you get, and the tinnier it sounds. But again, these speakers are in the arms of your sunglasses, which is crazy. And when you pull off your sunglasses, the sound stops. I've really enjoyed using these in car rides. When I'm driving somewhere, we've got some music on for my daughter in the back of the van. My wife is doing her own thing, and then I want to listen to a podcast. I've actually been using these for that a lot, obviously, because my ears are not actually filled with anything. I still hear the sounds around me, but what is impressive is that these have a 5 microphone array and do provide some noise cancellation as much as they possibly can. Like I think they actually, I don't know, they take in the sound and then they create, I don't know what they're doing, but it does cancel the noise a little bit, which is actually really impressive. What's up guys? So this is the video and audio test on the Meta Wayfarers in the city with lots of background noise. How do they look, how do they sound? Let me know in the comments. Now as far as phone calls, they actually sound surprisingly good because again, you've got 5 microphones all over the glasses. There's one on the nose bridge, I think 1 on each arm, something like that, and then some other, oh, restarted the music, and then other microphones around the glasses. That brings me to my next point, the controls. So you can either control these glasses with your phone, or if you're doing something where you can't use your phone, like maybe driving, they've actually got touch controls on the right arm, which is really cool. So you can play and pause by tapping the side. You can increase volume by swiping up or swiping down, and you can do things like switch to next song by double tapping. Let's be real. I wouldn't buy these as a replacement for a set of headphones like the AirPods Pro 3 or something like that. I would buy these as a supplement to a pair of headphones. If you're in a situation where you don't want to have your ears filled with some headphones, you can wear these instead, and they do a really great job of getting audio to you for either taking calls, for listening to music or podcasts when there's other stuff going on around you. They really give you an extra option when it comes to listening to things, maybe even like YouTube videos. If you're driving, you want to listen to like the newest Seth Fowler video, my main channel on YouTube. Check it out, subscribe if you haven't, or my podcast, the Shoes Off podcast. Both are linked in the description below. You can do that on these glasses, and it really makes it easy. Now, the newest feature on these glasses, some of which will be making it to the older generation, is of course Meta AI, which allows you to do a lot of things like talk to a virtual assistant, ask questions, set timers, play songs, make calls, or you can do live translation, which is something that a lot of new headphones and things that go on your ears are doing, like the AirPods Pro 3. Now, at the time of filming this, I haven't been able to test this feature just yet, but what I've heard is it's actually pretty decent. One of my favorite things that these can do, which I actually tested specifically on the Oakley Metas, of course it's mostly the same technology, is that you can look at something, take a photo, and then ask what that thing is. It's amazing that these glasses can do that. The only problem is that Meta restricts what things the glasses can and can't identify. So for example, if I take a picture of my camera in front of me, it'll say, it looks like you're filming a camera in front of you, but it won't say like the brand of camera, even though that's very apparent on the front of the camera, it's a Sony. Or for example, if I look at my laptop, take a picture of my laptop, it'll say, it looks like you're running video editing software on your laptop, but it won't say what kind of laptop it is. And where I really noticed this is when I was using the Meta Oakleys in a chair warehouse, taking pictures of chairs, asking it what chair that was, it would just say office chair. Although it was very obvious it was a Herman Miller chair or, you know, an Asus gaming chair or something like that. Now, honestly, I feel like the reason they don't let you get specific is because they want to monetize that in some way. So the glasses can say to you, that's a Herman Miller chair. Do you want to buy it? And then you can be like, yeah, and then it'll make a purchase. I don't know if that's coming or not. I would be really surprised if it didn't come, but I think that's the reason why it doesn't do that yet. Like, I think that's the reason it doesn't give you specific brand names yet, because maybe they have to sign sign on brands before they can do that, or maybe they want these brands to pay a little bit of money in order to identify their products if it becomes a bigger feature. I don't know. That might all be a conspiracy theory, but I feel like that's the direction that it's going. Is that a bad thing? Not the best, but at the same time, you know, it's not bad if like you see a LaCroix that you like and you want to take a picture of it and be like, what flavor is that? And then your glasses say it's the cran raspberry flavor. Do you want to buy a 6-pack? And it's like, actually, yeah, I do kind of want to grab a 6-pack of Raz Cranberry. I got the name wrong. Raz Cranberry LaCroix. Shout out to LaCroix. Hit me up if you want to sponsor the channel. Now, of course, another improvement on the Meta Wayfarer Gen 2s is battery life. They now apparently get up to 8 hours of battery in use. They also have 19 hours of standby battery time. And then with the case, which is really cool, we'll talk about the case in a second, you get an extra 48 hours of battery life, which is dope. Now, this is definitely an improvement over the Gen 1s. And while I can't say for sure if it's exactly 8 hours worth of battery life, it's pretty close from what I've noticed. I really should have gotten a timer, just timed it out, but I didn't think about it. I should have asked Meta actually to do that for me, but I completely forgot. As far as the case goes, it actually feels really premium. You've got what seems to be some sort of synthetic leather. Actually, that might be real suede on the inside. That feels really nice. It's a case in a very similar style to regular Ray-Ban sunglasses. You've got the charging point right there in the nose bridge. When you close these, you kind of just throw them on. I think it's magnetic. It might not be magnetic. It might actually just be a tension thing. Yeah, it's just sort of a tension thing. You slide them in there. And then you've got an indicator LED on the front that tells you whether they're charging or not. Of course, to charge the actual case itself, which is how you charge the sunglasses, there's no USB port on the sunglasses. You've got this USB-C port on the bottom and then a sync button on the back. There is an extra battery pack in there, so it's a bit heavier than a regular sunglass case, but it does give you a lot of extra battery life, which is a huge plus. A few other things that I wanted to talk about with these sunglasses are the fact that you can get polarized lenses if you want, which I definitely recommend. I didn't get them here because it was just expensive. I'm gonna be real with you. $379 was already a lot for these, but I would have liked to have gotten polarized lenses, which what they do is they actually have this coating on the outside, which are these crystals aligned in a certain way that block glare off things like windshields and water. It's actually really impressive and you really should try it. It's something that you might be thinking to yourself, it's not a huge deal. And again, from working at Luxottica and Sunglass Hut for years, it does make a difference. I'm not just saying that, it genuinely does make a difference. And I really would have liked to have spent the extra $50 to $100, I think it's probably around $50 to upgrade to the polarized lenses, but I didn't. Now, another thing about these glasses, other than the fact that the price is very, very high, is that the actual build quality of them, while it feels decent, compared to a regular pair of Ray-Bans, it feels a little bit cheaper. And that's because it doesn't feel as sturdy. Oh, and of course, if you really want to go all out and wear these as your everyday glasses, you can put prescription lenses in there. It's gonna be more expensive. You have to do it through Ray-Ban's website. I don't believe you can do them after the fact, although you really could if you wanted to. But Ray-Ban actually offers it on their website, or Meta offers it on their website, so you can throw in some prescription lenses if you would like. I need prescription lenses, my eyes suck, but I wear contacts all the time, so I just get regular sunglasses because they save me a lot of money and I don't have to like look for my prescription sunglasses whenever I want to go outside. Now, if you're wondering what the difference is between these and the Oakley Metas that just released a couple months ago, besides just the design, which I obviously prefer the Ray-Ban design. I said it in the Oakley review, but there are a few small differences. Obviously, the camera tech is the same. However, the battery life is better on the Oakleys. Apparently, it's an hour better. You get less battery life in the case of the Oakleys, so you get 36 hours of extra battery life compared to Ray-Ban's 48 hours of extra battery life. The camera field of view is a tiny bit wider on the Oakleys because they're designed for sports usage versus these, which are designed for just everyday wear. Certain Oakley Metas don't allow you to switch out prescription lenses, although you can do it in I think every pair of Ray-Ban Metas, I'm pretty sure. And when it comes to durability, I do feel like the Oakleys are a tad bit more durable. But if you're like me and you prefer aesthetics over most other things, then yeah, the Ray-Ban's the way to go. So in my opinion, if you have never bought a pair of Meta Wayfarers or Meta Oakleys or anything like that, and you want a pair of glasses that has a decent Bluetooth speaker, decent AI, decent call quality, and a decent camera, none of it's amazing, but it's all impressive for the package that it's in, then yeah, I think it's worth spending the $379 on a pair of Meta Wayfarer Gen 2s. They are definitely better than the Gen 1s. If you have the Gen 1s and you're using them for content, maybe upgrade to the 2s. If you have the Gen 1s and you're really only using them for like taking family photos and you're fine with the photo quality and the video quality, then yeah, just stick with them. These are not like a night and day improvement over the Gen 1s. They are a nice improvement, but is it worth the extra couple $100 to buy these? Probably not. In my opinion, if you are planning to use these for any kind of content, whether it's live streaming, video recording, photo taking, or using these to listen to music or whatever, then yeah, you should get the Gen 2s. But now my question is, how do these compare to the Ray-Ban displays? I don't know, we'll have to wait and see when they drop. But either way, let me know what you think of the Ray-Ban Meta Gen 2s in the comment section down below. Are you grabbing one? Do you have the Gen 1s? Do you feel like you need to upgrade? Let me know those thoughts in the comment section. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.